is August 26th, 2025. It's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode. So today I wanted to do just kind of a quick look at this lovely setting of the Ashgrove by Samuel Milligan from his Medieval to Modern Volume 2. I have many fond memories of this book. I played quite a bit of this music, maybe the entire book when I was first starting the harp. And I think many years ago I did an episode on the air and rondo, the Boxer air and rondo at the beginning of the book. But as I say, there's quite a lot of nice arrangements and a lot of nice music in here. He obviously had large hands, Samuel Milligan, so some of the arrangements have some pretty big chords and you maybe have to adapt them if you have smaller hands. But this setting of the Ashgrove I think is quite comfortable. It's the third of he groups this as three traditional Welsh airs. And let's take a look at what's going on here. So let's kind of look just a little bit first at the structure and some of the patterns, because that can be really helpful when you're tackling something new instead of just kind of reading through it, to kind of become aware of the fact that, oh, this repeats, or this is the same thing with a slight variation. So we have this first kind of statement of the melody. Repeats. And then we get a middle section, so sort of a B section, which kind of starts, it starts the same, but now it changes. And now we go back to the beginning, same as the beginning, etc. So it's basically A, B, A. Right? A very sort of classic traditional kind of layout, which means that there's not so much new stuff to learn. And on the second page, it's still the same, that A with a repeat, B, A, but it's now a little bit more elaborate. We've got all these running eighth notes, which I remember being very exciting, very fun to play. And then same here on the B section. Again, we've got thrown in then a little bit of eighth notes in the right hand and eighth notes in the rippling eighth notes in the left hand, where before we just had chords for this section. Sorry. So again, it's really quite not so much material there. And if we look at the left hand, what we see is that in the A section, the left hand basically stays the same, whether we're doing page 1 or page 2. Page 2, just a couple bars that are slightly different, not so many notes, but otherwise it's the same thing. And then in the B section, the left hand stays the same. It's just that the second time through, instead of chord, 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 it's chord, ripple. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3. So yeah, again, a lot of patterns there, so that kind of can help reduce the amount of stuff to learn, to kind of grasp as you're trying to put this together and trying to learn this. Let's look at what the right hand's doing here at the beginning. So we kind of have these little phrases where we come off, and he's marked them with a phrase marking. And if we think about the first one, that's basically just a G arpeggio, right? So we have a G second inversion chord. And we just go right back down the same way we came up, but without the fourth finger. So this is a root position G triad at the end. And then we play that G we just finished with. And from now on, it's a D7 shape, is what it feels like. Right, so we play this G, and then it's So a root position D7 here, D, F, A, here's the 7th note, C, and we're starting on the A. Okay. So again, similar pattern in the beginning where we go up and then down, and here we don't go down, we don't play that G that we played at the very first note of this group, but everything else is just kind of retracing the steps. And then we get another set like that. But this time it definitely changes on the way down a little bit. So going up, it's like a G chord, right? It's a second inversion 3-note G chord. But then going down, it might feel like it does feel like a root position C7, where we're skipping every other string. It's like, great. And then the end. We have the thumb moving here, ending up on G, we're in the key of G, and then we have kind of this crunchy chord, and then it goes back to resolve onto a nice G chord. So already, you know, we kind of have that potentially maybe a little bit memorized. So it starts with this G chord where we go up and down. We repeat the G and then we move into a D7. Here's a G chord going into a C7. Thumb is moving here up to the G. Crunchy chord. Resolve into the G. Great. And then the B part starts the same as the A part with the same second inversion G chord. And then we repeat this D that we just played. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Thumb goes back and we do 4 in a row. Connect up to 2 on the C. Repeat the C. And then again 4 in a row from the C. Up to 2 on the B this time, so like we just did, but everything's 1 string lower. Repeat the B. And now here, I find myself doing a slightly different fingering because we've gotten so used to doing this 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row coming down that happens here and it happens here. And so what I'll do here is I'll also place 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I should do it on the bottom. It's a little bit clearer. That I'm going to place the 4th finger on that F. And then I'll play the A with 3 instead of 2. So, zoom in a little bit here for you. Come off. I'll play this chord with 3, 2, 1. Oh no, I think actually... Oh, because I've just used 4 and 3 on the bottom here, I use them again here, and then switch to 2 and 3 as we would normally play this first inversion D chord. You can certainly do the fingering here as written. 1, 2, 3, off, 2, 3, 1. And in that case, 3, 2, 1 here. But I really like the sort of 3 in a row where we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway, something you could experiment with. Again, then we get a reprise of the A part. And then we're on to the second page with this exciting right hand 8th note little pattern. So it starts the same. And we start to do these scales. One thing to note here is, even though I think I maybe learned it with this 3, 2, 3 here, I would definitely not do that. I think it's much harder in general if we are playing a note and then we go up to a note above it and then go back down to a lower note. That top note would normally be with a thumb, and I think that's going to be easier here if we put the thumb on that D. So in which case this can be with a 2. So with this, I think it's a great spot for, again, like sort of a scale practice, right? You're just connecting to 4 here, then you place everything, cross over, everything, place everything, place everything. And it's not specifically marked here, but I do a slide from that A to the G, because we don't have so much time, and it just helps make that nice and smooth. So this is one where you could practice, of course, slow and loud. You could do maybe some skipping rhythm. Or the opposite. Or of course breaking down a smaller section and trying to get the sort of the dance of the right hand of where it's going up and down and under and over and connecting and getting that nice and rock solid. I would say this section here, it's quite hard not to buzz. Definitely worth some extra practice there to try to get that as clean as possible. And then the B section on this page, we just have that kind of, instead of, we just have that nice little lilt there, those eighth notes going up instead of the just straight quarters. And you can see here written in a 2, so that these notes here would just be with 2 and off. And I like the feel, it kind of harkens back to the first time we do this B part. To me, I like that better. And again here, I would continue to connect and play this with 4 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. And then we're on to the end. So as I say, quite a nice setting, I think, of this piece, which of course is a beautiful piece and a lot of fun to play, especially the second page where it starts going quite fast in the right hand, quite fun to play. So I think I'll close with playing the whole thing for you. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon for another episode of Harp Tuesday. Cheers.